In this video, I'm going to show how to use the do-it-yourself scanner that we offer here at Stock Market Guides. On my screen here is the page you see when you sign in, and this section shows the subscriptions that you've signed up for. The profile I'm using right now has access to all three of our services. I'm going to click the swing trading service, which is for active stock traders, but the tutorials I'm about to offer apply to all of our scanners, regardless of service, since the instructions for using them is the same. So I'll go in here. On the left side of this page, these are the sections associated with our do-it-yourself scanner. So these are ideal for people who want to see lots of trade ideas and do their own research, use their own filters to fine-tune and find the exact trade ideas that they feel are best for them. So in this section here, you'll see, at least for the swing trading service, we have our scanner broken into two parts. We have a pre-market scanner and a market hours scanner. And they use different strategies. And so the strategies that are associated with stocks where you can identify the trade setup before the market opens, those all fall under our pre-market scanner. And the ones that only occur when the market is open and as live price action is occurring, those fall under the market hours scanner. Let's take a look at the pre-market scanner. So first I'm just going to explain what the columns mean. So the ticker, that refers to either the stock or option ticker symbol. The chart, this, you'll see that there's this little icon here to expand this. The image that's shown here is just an indication of what the trade setup is. It's just kind of a visual display, like this one is a channel pattern or a range setup, and this kind of is a demonstration of what the chart pattern might look like for that. Now if you want to see the actual chart, you can click this icon and it will show you the chart. And if it happens to be a chart pattern setup, you'll see that there's yellow lines there to kind of indicate what is the support and resistance level. So that's how you see the chart. The alert price, this was the price of the stock or option at the time that we picked it up in our scanner. So once it was added to our scan results, this was the price at that time. Now if it was a pre-market scan result, that means the scan result was picked up before the market opened the next day. So we don't yet know what the price will be at the time the market opens the next day. So we're picking up the most recent price, which is the price at the close of the prior day. Here, this is the trade setup. And so if you're curious what exactly is the trading strategy for any of these different scan results, you can click this and learn more about it. Now here, this is where the real juice of our service lives. This shows how many times historically has this trade setup occurred for this specific ticker symbol, and how did it perform according to our backtesting process. And so it shows the wins, the losses, the win percentage, and the annualized return. And the beauty of that is if you see a solid trade setup, like an oversold trade setup, or a stock in a channel pattern or a stock at support, you actually can find out now, you can tell for yourself, well, how many times has this happened before and how did it perform historically for this stock when this happened? Now you might only want to pursue trade setups that have a really strong track record of success. And that's exactly what our scanner allows you to do, is to segregate those trade setups. Now when we talk about back-tested performance, one key ingredient to calculating that is how long was the position held. And that's something that is controlled here with this time frame box. So it will, when you open this page, it's going to already have a value populated by default, but you can just come in here and change it, and then you'll see different results. And so whichever time frame you select, the backtest results are going to be based on that specific time frame. So you can choose for yourself what's the time frame of trade duration that you prefer, and make your scan set up accordingly. And for those interested, if you wanted to see the detailed breakdown of the backtested performance, you can just click the magnifying glass icon and it will show you each individual occurrence of when this trade setup occurred in the past for that stock or option and how it performed according to our backtests. Over here are some more classic columns like volume, market capitalization, and sector. By the way, you can come down here. you can slide to the right with this slider at the bottom of the scanner screen. And we also have information here like earnings overlap and dividend overlap, as well as the time that this scan result showed up in the scanner output. So now let's talk about how to sort. Sorting is as easy as clicking the column name that you want sorted. So you can see win percentage, there's a little green arrow right here. So this is currently the column that's sorted, and it's sorted in descending order with the highest value at the top. If I click that again, you see that it changes the sorting to be in the other direction. And you can do that with any of these columns here that have that sorting feature. Now, in terms of adding filters, this is where you can really fine-tune the results to make sure you're only getting scan results that you feel are the most premium trade opportunities. If you click Add Filter, that's how you can add one of these filters. And you can see this is all the type of information that you can filter. So for example, if you only want to trade stocks that are less than $50, you can add this alert filter, which I just did, click that, and then type 50 as the maximum price. So the left-hand side is the minimum, the right-hand side is the maximum. And now you're only looking at stocks that are less than $50. And this applies, of course, to the option scanner as well. Now imagine you only want to look at stocks that have a particular market cap, like only stocks that are bigger stocks, for example. So we'll come in, I'll click market cap, it adds this filter input field, and I'll say the minimum, I'll make it $1 billion. It's a lot of zeros, but you can see it immediately updates the results. Right after I input this, I don't need to push enter, I don't need to click any button, it just automatically in real time updates this. And so now we're seeing results that are more fine-tuned here. Now let's say that I only want to see trade setups where there are at least 20 wins. Maybe, for example, this one has 9 wins and 1 loss. Maybe I feel like I want to see a bigger track record to feel confident in taking the trade. So we can do that easily by adding the wins filter. And so I'll set a minimum of 20. Again, you'll notice right away it updates. And so now we're really fine-tuning this. Now let's say that we only want trades with a win percentage that's at least 70%. So I'll go to here, win percentage, minimum of 70. Now I see the results. There's only 3 results at this point. And I'm just looking at the annualized return, and I see that there's one down here that's a bit of an outlier that doesn't seem as strong. And so I'll add one more filter for annualized return and say it has to be at least a 50% annualized return. And at this point now, I've got just 2 results left. And if these are the criteria that matter to me, then these are two solid trade setups that meet all the criteria that I set forth. And so at this point, I might want to get alerts each time any trade setup occurs that meets these criteria. And it's up to you, of course, which criteria matter to you. You can fine-tune this to be anything you want in terms of the price or the win percentage or whether or not the number of historical occurrences of the trade setup matter. That's completely up to you. The idea is that you have total control over fine-tuning the results of the scan. Now there's one other thing that needs to be shown, and that is how to follow a scan. In other words, how to save a scan result so that you can keep track of it. Now over here you'll see these stars. So let's say that I see these 2 scan results, and let's say I go ahead and decide I'm going to trade this one for SHCO, or just that I simply want to remember it. You see I clicked that, and this popped up on the screen. There was a link there to my followed scan results. I could also go here and just click this. And this takes me to a separate page called My Followed Scan Results. And this is all the individual scan results you chose to basically save to your follow list. And you'll see this is the same information, except that it has a couple extra bits, which are the date added to your list and also the trade end date. And that way, if you decide to follow along with some of these trade setups that you find in the scanner, you can easily see when is a trade scheduled to end if you want to follow along in lockstep with the backtested approach. And that way you're not left kind of guessing or trying to remember how long to hold a position. You have an exact trade setup in front of you to follow along with if you want to mimic that particular trade setup. You can easily remove items from the list by simply clicking this star and refreshing the page, and then it will be gone. A couple other things, if I were to go back, this is the scan results page. If I go back one more, and if I come back into that scanner, you'll notice the filter values are saved. So they'll automatically save, and you can expect them to be there unless you go in and change them later. And they're saved based on the individual scanner that you're using. So that's the pre-market scan results, and our market hours scanner has the exact same framework. So they work exactly the same. And again, it also works the same for our stock investing scanner. It's just for different strategies designed for longer term holds and based on fundamentals. And it also works the same for our option trading service, except that it shows option ticker symbols that include a strike price, expiration date, and option type. So that's how our do-it-yourself scanner works. If you have any questions about our scanner or about any of our other services, you can contact us anytime. Our email address is support@stockmarketguides.com.